Chubby Checker and the Fat Boys are doing the twist. Fun in your hand and go like that. Hit.
So you brought with you, Doug? Who's that? Who is
Should we start?
Who is that?
Fat Boys.
Oh, the Fat Boys from like the 90s?
80s?
80s.
Yeah, golden era.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest joke bands of the 80s.
Yeah.
Because they were the Fat Boys, but they were really good at their craft. And this was their great 45 where they teamed up with Chubby Checker,
Right.
singing The Twist and the Fat Boys.
It's kind of like Jive Bunny, but the rap version, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's got a lot more cred than Jive Bunny, and I do source Fat Boys records whenever I find them. But that's one that I've had back in the day. Isn't that good?
It's lovely, Doug.
What's on the B side? Do you want to know?
Sure. Pop it on. Sounds like you.
Thank you. Pretty good, huh? That's mid 80s beatboxing.
Speaking of 80s, I've brought in a record.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's a huge resurgence in Michael Hutchence at the moment.
Yeah,
His
that's
sister
right.
Tina Hutchence has released a book called Michael, My Brother, The Lost Boy of INXS. And with that came the Mystify film as directed by Richard Lowenstein, which is like, I guess, a documentary on Michael's life.
A rock you.
Or a rockumentary, if you like, where he uses people's words to tell the story of Michael's life. And it's really non-tabloidish. It's actually really brilliant. However, speaking of Richard Lowenstein, I found the old Dogs in Space soundtrack.
Whoa.
And this is just brilliant because obviously he directed Dogs in Space in '83, I think it was. And this is the album that came out with it, and it's very hard to find.
Was that in your collection?
It was in my collection. It features that wonderful track, Rooms for the Memory. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Michael Hutchence. That's okay. It features Boys Next Door, you know them, Nick Cave's band. Ollie Olsen,
Oh, really? Cool.
Thrush, and I can't say that word, but it's a rude word. Gang of Four, Iggy Pop. It's fantastic. We should play something.
Well, let's play that Michael Hutchence one. Do you want to hear an interesting fact
Yeah.
that's interesting to me?
Yeah.
About Dogs in Space?
Please.
That was filmed in Richmond in a house
That's right.
that was about 3 doors up from my now mother-in-law's house.
Is that right?
That is right, and she lived in that same little street in Richmond, a really skinny little street.
Yeah.
And for years, people would come past and sit outside the house. This was pre-mobile phone, so they weren't taking selfies there. They were just doing little vigils there.
Wow.
Little lost Dogs in Space vigils. Isn't that interesting? Is it interesting?
I think it's very interesting because it's now on the Roots of Rock landmark, that house.
Oh, is it really?
The Dogs in Space house. It's track 7, Doug, right at the end.
Okay, good. I've wrecked the record.
Yeah, you can take these bus tours from the Australian Music Vault at the city and go on this tour of all these wonderful landmarks in Melbourne, musical landmarks. And the Dogs in Space house is one of them, so I'm sure
What?
that
Have
I'll
you done
wave hello to your mother-in-law next time I'm there.
Let's go on the magical musical tour together. No? No, okay. You don't want to?
Yeah, maybe. We'll do our own. Such a good single.
You're too close to my face. Very Bowie.
Yeah, isn't it?
Like this wouldn't be amiss in Labyrinth. I'm the Goblin King.
It actually sounds better on that little record player than it does at mine at home. Sounds a lot better here.
Is that why?
I don't know. I think
Because it's mixed for 80 stereos.
I think my needle's a bit flat or something, or dusty. I don't know. I need to get a record player doctor out.
Do you know what? I got record players 25 years ago, a couple of decks, a couple of 1200s.
Yeah.
And in 25 years, I've never had them serviced. And I've doctored the leads and I've done all sorts of horrible stuff to them, and they still work fine. But for the first time, 2 days ago, Jane, I took them to be serviced.
Expensive?
Don't think so. Great guy in Coburg, Billy.
Okay.
You want to get your turntable serviced? It's just his house.
Top tips.
Just
He does it at his house.
Take it to his house. And he collects electronic things, and he's got every gaming console forever.
It's funny, people that do things that they like fix things at their house, like they've got these computer people where you take your laptop to someone's house. Obviously, my mum used to take her ironing to this chick's house and get, and then go and pick it up, 2 days later, and all her ironing would be done.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Haircuts.
Yes, at people's houses.
I know people that do haircuts.
I'm uncomfortable with that.
Yeah? Well, it's not.
I don't want to see people's lives when I'm getting my hair cut.
But some people do it in the garage.
Oh.
A lot of the Italian hairdressers have converted their garages into hairdressers now. Does that not make
That does not appeal.
Okay.
No. Have you been to them?
might have taken my son once or twice.
Cute.
There's one guy in Northcote. Yeah. $5 a haircut. You
is
can't
it?
go wrong. Instead of paying $15 in the shops.
Yeah, but you get a free beer when I spend $35 at my place.
That's just too expensive.
It's not free then, is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
just. Yeah.